EFL TV, proudly brought to you by Ferntree Gully Motor
Hello
Group.
and welcome to the EFL agenda. Well, 1 down, 3 to go. We're through the Division 4 Grand Final. What a great Grand Final it was. And there's 3 more cracking ones to come. 2 coming up this weekend. We can't wait. Hello, I'm Braden Ingram, as usual. And joining me today, Dyson Baker, the media manager of the EFL. Good afternoon to you, mate.
Good afternoon to you, Brad. It is not a better time of the year to be involved with the Eastern Footy League, so couldn't be happier at this time of year.
We love this time of the year. The sun pretty much always out on the weekend. We had a great weekend for the Division 4 Grand Final. We'll get that in a moment, but we want to start off on what was a bit of a moment. It's become a great hallmark of how good this competition is in terms of getting around people in need. Simon Minon, we mentioned last week, passed away overseas. Due to the fact that he was overseas, he wasn't able to get travel insurance due to his condition, and there was our call out. We put out on Twitter, put out on Facebook to help his family out, to cover those expenses, and well, hasn't the EFL community jumped to his cause? We asked for around $100,000, already up to $76,000. It's a ridiculous amount. People have just jumped in. They haven't really questioned it. They've done a sensational job, and now they've even had to move the event, mate. It's a great hallmark of how well this community binds together when needed.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's quality to know that how much the Eastern Footy League community has got behind this. And I mean, this originally the event started as a couple of drinks at the Heathmont Football Club. It then got big enough to go to the Heathmont Bowls Club, which is a little bit bigger. The social rooms there, just up the road. And now it's actually gotten so big that they're hiring a marquee, which they're going to put on the ground. So a wedding-style marquee that you would have seen. So they're probably catering for upwards of a couple of hundred people, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Well, it's great to see. Of course, if you haven't already contributed, if you can, it would be sensational. Jump on the Heathmont website to give them a call even, or jump on the Footy EFL website. There's directions there as to how you can help out the Minson family. Well, we move on from there to the Division 4 Grand Final last Saturday afternoon. Dyson, Park Orchard, some of us didn't expect to get in. They finished the season just scraping into the top 4. I tell you what, they came home in the finals, and at three-quarter time they had the lead, but Sylvan proved why they finished where they did on the ladder, and they got the chocolates in the end. A sensational last quarter, really running over Park Orchards.
Yeah, momentum's a giant thing, Braden. It shifted from both ways, and it was probably with Sylvan for the first half of the game, and then all of a sudden Park Orchards came out in that third term and just put it all on them. I think 6-3 and led into three-quarter time by 5 points, and they thought, oh, here we go. There was a general consensus was that Park Orchards would have the legs to run over Sylvan in the last quarter, and that was probably where their strength was. And then all of a sudden, I think the contested footy of Sylvan probably got a little bit too much for Park Orchards, and I think Sylvan ended up kicking 6-1 in the last quarter, and including a Chris Goodlett goal right on the final siren to seal the deal.
A couple of teams hoping that'll be a big week out in the town coming up. First of all, we'll look this weekend. It's the Division 2 Grand Final on Saturday afternoon. Well, it's the top 2 teams. North Ringwood taking on Croydon. This game's going to be an interesting one. North Ringwood have had the wood over Croydon for most of this season. Do Croydon have one last surprise left in the bag, mate?
No. In no uncertain terms. I mean, you'd love to say that they would, but I mean, the first margin was 7 goals, the second margin was 8 goals, and the second semi-final a couple of weeks ago was 11. So it's just got worse and worse, and I think that's probably due to North Ringwood just getting better and better as the season's gone on. They've been phenomenal this year, and I mean, even the fact we're in the second semi-final, played a man down in the last quarter and still managed to get over the line by 11 goals is a fair effort.
North Ringwood obviously going to play their standard game. Croydon, you've got to come out and change something up. The issue for them is Tormore's such a big ground, it's not as if they can just shut down, because there's going to be plenty of space for the North Ringwood players to run into. Is there any way you see Croydon changing things up to be able to at least be in the game in the second half?
They need to find some way, whether it's a second ruckman or whether it's a key back, someone to just throw in as a centre-half forward focal point. Even if they're not taking marks, they still need to be there because, like I said, Tormore's a big ground, and if you've got to stay in a home forward like Brendan Weiner, you need to find someone who is that middle avenue that works from 40 to 70 metres out from goal and is that focal point going forward.
And the issue on a big ground like that is you can be tempted to just try and get it in there as quick as possible. And if you bomb it in, it's just going to come straight back out.
One that'll have 3 on him all day.
Yeah, so that's the issue for them. Can Croydon find a way? I think we're both looking like North Ringwood's going to get the job done. But that game, of course, will be on 98.1 FM from 1 p.m. and streaming online on efl.org.au. Another grand final. It's a Division 3 grand final. Maybe there's a bit of a surprise here. I tell you what, Wanturna South, they're already through. They've had the week off. Templestowe getting over Mitcham last week. That's an incredibly interesting one. Mitcham, the firepower that they have. In the end, Templestowe, they got smacked by them almost by 100 points a couple of weeks ago. 95, thank you. I mean, just a huge margin. They had some injuries in the second half, so maybe Rick Irwin thought he might just leave a couple of players out, leave a bit of space in the bank, I suppose, for a couple of weeks. Got the win last week, and then coming into that Templestowe game, coming in against Mitcham, they did the job and got over by 11 points. Huge win.
Yeah, 107-point turnaround, which is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you look at the way that they've both worked and both operated over the last 2 weeks, and I think Rick Irwin's really, like you said, he probably put the cue in the rack. Yep. To be honest, at three-quarter time, knowing that they were going to struggle in that last quarter. As much as you don't take anything away from Mitcham's 11 goals in the qualifying final, it was still a phenomenal effort. But you fast forward 2 weeks, obviously they had to get over Braden, and they did that. They ticked the box, and then they just played. They were a completely different side in the preliminary final, and that's something that really excites me about their chances this week. I think had it been Mitcham, we probably would have said Wanty South easy, but I think Templestowe just adds that air of uncertainty into Sunday's game.
Look, going to be a great night. Can't wait for it. If you can't make it to the event, if you didn't get on the prestigious invite list like we did, mate, then you can jump on to Footy EFL. We'll be on Twitter. You'll certainly be updating those, so we'll know who are the winners if you can't make it to the night. And as usual, on the weekend, 98.1 FM you'll get all your action. You'll have from 1 p.m. on Saturday afternoon the Division 2 Grand Final. From 2 p.m. Before that, of course, on Sunday you've got 10 p.m. EFL Sunday. We'll wrap up the Division 2 Grand Final, go through the Division 3 preview as well, and then from 2 p.m. on 98.1 FM on the Sunday, we've got the Division 3 Grand Final. Really looking forward to the Dice. We'll certainly hear you over the weekend. Can't wait for it, mate. It's one of the great weekends. 2 Grand Finals, a preliminary final.
Add in a third, the Netball EFL Grand Final as well on Friday night between Baronia Gold and Croydon. That's going to be massive. It's going to be a huge next 4 days, but we're really looking forward to it. I think we're going to be all over the top of it.
Yeah, we certainly are. We can't wait to see you next week. We'll discuss all things EFL once more.